They murdered her husband, then they came to her door, not to apologize, but to ask for her hand in marriage. What they didn't know was that she'd already started planning their funeral. In the year 945 AD, a queen's heart was shattered when her husband, Prince Igor, was brutally murdered by a rival tribe. But what came next wasn't grief. It was legendary revenge. She wasn't born a warrior. She was a mother, a wife, a queen. But on that cold spring day in 945 AD, the world showed Olga of Kiev exactly how cruel it could be. Prince Igor, her husband, her protector, rode out to settle a dispute with the neighboring Drevlians. But he never came home. When they returned his body, it was barely recognizable, beaten, tortured, hacked apart. She didn't weep in public. She couldn't afford to, not with her baby boy watching, not with her enemies circling. But inside, her grief was a wildfire, and beneath it all, something darker was growing. A few days after Igor's funeral, a message came from the Drevlians. Not an apology, not a treaty, but a proposal. "You should marry our Prince Mal," they said. "You need a real man to rule." It was like spitting on a fresh grave. They murdered her husband, and now they expected her to lie next to his killer. But Olga didn't scream. She didn't lash out. She simply said, "Of course, but let me honor your noble envoys with the Bath of Kings." She had a deep trench dug, then lured all 20 messengers inside under the pretense of royal hospitality. And as the last man climbed down, she ordered the earth to be shoveled in. Their muffled screams were swallowed by dirt and justice. But that was only step one. This wasn't blind rage. It was surgical vengeance. She sent word to the Drevlians, "Send more men. I'll accept your proposal in public, in front of the people." So dozens of their highest nobles arrived, dressed in their finest robes. She smiled. "Before we speak, enjoy our new bathhouse. It's warm and private." Once they were inside, she locked the doors and set the building on fire. She didn't look away, because this wasn't just revenge. It was a message. "I am not afraid of your fire. I am the fire." Still, the Drevlians didn't understand. Desperate, they invited Olga to their capital to finalize the marriage. She agreed, and even asked them to throw a grand feast. They obliged. Thousands gathered, wine poured, music played, and just as the celebration reached its peak, Olga lifted her golden goblet and stood tall before the crowd. "This toast is for my husband." Then she gave a signal. Her soldiers, hiding in the shadows, descended on the unarmed crowd. Blood flowed like wine. Men who had laughed minutes ago now begged for mercy beneath. The Drevlian capital still stood, walls thick, gates locked. So Olga sent them one last message. "I've had enough bloodshed. Let's make peace. Send me just 3 birds from each home, pigeons and sparrows, a small offering of friendship." They agreed. They thought, finally, mercy. What they didn't know was that her soldiers had tied flaming sulfur-soaked cloth to every bird's leg. At nightfall, she set them free. Each bird flew home, to the hay roofs, the dry beams, and the entire city ignited at once. Screams echoed into the night. Flames danced in the sky. There was no escape, no forgiveness. Olga didn't just take revenge. She took everything. The tribe that once mocked her ceased to exist. She ruled alone, with absolute authority. Years later, she would convert to Christianity, become a saint. But make no mistake, before sainthood, she was the storm. "You killed my husband. You threaten. Now your name lives only in the ashes I left behind." Grief doesn't always look like tears. Sometimes it looks like quiet planning in the dead of night. They mistook her silence for surrender. They forgot A quiet woman isn't always powerless. Sometimes, she's just planning where to bury the bodies. This wasn't madness. This was math. She didn't want chaos. She wanted symmetry. Every act of revenge wasn't just punishment, it was medicine. For a wound no one could see, but everyone would soon feel. They thought she felt nothing. The truth? She felt everything and remembered everyone. Some queens wear crowns, others wear blood, and never let you forget why. What makes Queen Olga unforgettable isn't just what she did, it's why she did it. She wasn't defending a throne. She was defending her right to feel, to mourn, to be respected. Her revenge wasn't cruelty, it was a demand to be seen. If this story left you breathless, it's because revenge, when done right, isn't just anger. It's justice in its rawest, most unforgettable form. Tap the like button if Queen Olga just became your favorite historical savage. Comment below, was her revenge too far or just right? And subscribe for more true stories that history tried to bury.